Let us continue. The journey is in your hands. Can you think of a time when you navigated a difficult situation and chose to exercise control?
Yeah, bloody. I can remember a time when I was actually supposed to be on holiday, but then my, at that time, girlfriend got sort of like heart issues, and we were sort of like in the West Indies at a hotel, and all of a sudden we're in an ambulance and going on this bumpy road and so on, and you basically have to keep calm. And for a few days, I had to be in there at the hospital before she was returned, and then she was really scared the rest of the holiday. The Dominican Republic, that was the exact place we were. And even though that it was a very tough time, it was also just like navigating, using a bit of control, and then it's a little bit irritating that it happened on a holiday and so on. But when something like that happens, it showed up to be nothing. They basically said that it was she had been sitting wrong in the plane, and she had some muscle issues which had been like a heart issue, but it was not really a heart issue. So it showed up to be a false alarm, you might say. But so it sort of like ruined the trip a bit. But that's a completely different story. Anyway, you had to exercise a certain amount of control in that situation, and that was that. So I will say yes. All right.
Thank you. At that time, was something restrained?
What was put on the back seat was the holiday. Basically, it was just sort of like restrained down to being a sort of like because she stayed very afraid, and it wasn't really a holiday as such. Well, we did have some okay times, but it was supposed to be a luxury retreat and so on. It became sort of more like a half emergency, half. Anyway, so what was the question again? Something restrained? Yes.
Thanks. I acknowledge that something was restrained at that time.
And let's just continue.
Thinking back on your life, was there then a moment when you found it important to find or advance your career, and for that reason made a choice to exercise control?
Yes, I was together with some guys. We had a company, and then we sold it, and then I had to sort of like start a new career, and I had to do it quite boldly, and I did, and it went okay. So yes.
I see. At that time, was something denied?
No.
I understand. Your answer is received. If you look at your life right now, are you then in order to find or advance your career, making a habit to exercise control?
Yes, but I think I also have to realize that you can't control everything. I mean, you can't just create a total abundance of customers and so on just by advertising. You have to be really smart. So the control thing is about very small things. It's just like if you're riding a horse. I don't know why I think of that. but there's a lot of small things which needs to be there. So control is a fine-tuned thing. You need to do a lot of things right to overall do it right. So yeah, that's also yes, right?
Thanks. In this instance, is something unknown?
Yes, it is. Even if you do your absolute best, there is always. I mean, you can't be sure. You can have an idea that it's most likely going to go okay, but there's still an unknown factor. So that's a definite yes.
I see. I acknowledge that there is something unknown in this instance.
That's right. Okay. So let's see. It says here that I have enhanced my awareness of the present. Let's continue for one more last question.
As you consider your immediate future, do you then envision ways to exercise control so that you can address challenges?
I'm looking for ways to exercise control to areas around me and in my professional work, which will get things moving in the right direction, but will not destroy anything. I think it's very important to understand that control is not something where you push it's something where you just do whatever is needed. Sometimes a very small thing which is needed, just a little bit of a pinch or move some energy towards that, or put your attention on that over there. And it's a very, control is a very fine thing. I mean, if you sit in a car and you have a wonderful control with the car, you can hardly, if you're a passenger, you can hardly feel that somebody is driving. It's just so smooth. So I think very good control is also something which is very, in a way, nice, because it just seems so natural. It's also if you're dancing and if it's working out right, then it feels extremely natural, even though there is a lot of control involved in it. But it's just the right amount of control. It is just so subtle. So yeah, just got me thinking there about what is the essence of control. It's just the right amount of force, right? So and that is important to be able to exercise that. And I'm looking to be better at that, and I'm also looking for ways to do that, you know. And it's not manipulation if you just, for instance, if there's a social situation and you just do and say whatever makes the situation flow right. I don't see anything negative about that. If you are trying manipulation, which is sort of like a cousin to this, it's more like if you're sort of like trying to get a person to do something they actually basically don't want to do. And that I don't actually find is good control. But it's, for instance, if you have a friend and this friend needs to do something which he or she really wants to do, and you're able to sort of like give them just the right amount of push. So it's basically their own decision, but they can feel your back up and then they do it. That's really good control, because it's just the right amount of what is needed. Yeah. And on those wise words, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break. I hope I see you tomorrow. And if you, in the meantime, thought, oh, this is pretty interesting, I want to try that myself, you can just download the app